What's up, good buddy Max? It's been a while.
What's up? It has. I just checked. It's almost exactly a month since it was me and you. We did one with Will. You did one with
Longer
JQ
than
and
that.
Becco. Yeah, I checked. It says here 17th of April.
Yeah, but we recorded that way
Maybe.
before that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Been a while. This is also like, we got to have an intervention for you, bring you back to RC.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Our money went there. I said the forbidden word.
You said yes?
No, I said the F word.
Oh, well. Let's just drop that intro. And we got a lot to talk about. So we're just going to go.
Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right, and let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 bill. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to show number 317 of the No Name RC podcast. After all these episodes, we're switching it over. I'm on the right now. Well, virtually my right, because JQ brought up a good point in the last podcast. You're always looking that way, so you might as well look towards that person. It's going to take some time to get used to. But, yeah. My name is Lefty the Great, Keno White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and over to my virtual right. It's so weird. No, I got to point that way.
Yeah.
That way,
no. You're like all discombobulated.
Yeah, I was muting those guys by mistake last podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit discombobulated with this new switch. Leave it to JQ, right, to discombobulate my life. But welcome everybody back to we're recording. It's been quite a while. Let's get through all the dilly-dally before we do that. A big shout out to all of you guys around the world. A big shout out to the NNRC squad. We can't do this without you guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members. You guys go the extra mile and help support this as well. We greatly appreciate that. Also, a big shout out to the companies that support this podcast. We have in the written description links for them. Some are coupon codes, some are affiliate links, some have nothing. Just let them know that you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. A big shout out to J Concepts, High Tech RCD, Sidewinder Fuels, Letara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Shout out to our drivers, David Ronnefalk, Robert Batty, Alexander Hagberg, Maddie G, Pecco, Evening, Una, and of course, the prophecy fulfilled, the IceMam, Mason Fuller. Oh, yeah. And, yeah. So we're back, Max. You did not record with me last week. It was a very good recording with JQ. If you guys haven't did it already, go check out episode 316. We did a little something different. Not every podcast is going to be like that, but when it's a really good podcast like we have with JQ, and he brought up lots of points that were good and funny, and we'll see how it all ends, because now apparently he has some beef. But you got to go learn all about that beef on show number 316. Max, you're back. We're going to catch up with you We're going to have an intervention for you. We're bringing you back to RC, just like you had to have for me. But before we do that, we got to say some happy birthdays real quick. Let's see. There's been a lot of birthdays since I've been going. Brad Gack, he's awesome. He does cool stuff. Clint Clausen, legend in RC. Let's see. Matt Templeman, Chelo Ibarra. I haven't seen him for a long time. Devin Burke, Chris Vanner, Savage Sam, Corey Jordan. Happy birthday to him. I was talking to him on his birthday. So happy birthday to many people. We might have missed her. We missed JQ's birthday as well. Barkley Abernathy, Eric Hosford, Renato Tradari. Sweet. Lots of birthdays. We missed a lot. We did. I want to say a couple of shout outs before we go on any further. Shout out to my boy Llewellyn Fry, aka The Wing. Been a long time listener of the podcast from down under. Even sent me a koozie and a note that I hope I can find because a lot of things got lost in the flooding and I've been looking for it. He's doing something really cool. He's doing nitro buggies and e-buggies. He has a class that he teaches. I think these are special needs students, or not special needs, but special ed, like they have learning disabilities. So he's been using RC cars for them to learn how to assemble them, nitro and e-buggies, and then run them down there in Australia. And he's using a lot of tech. He's a techno guy, so he's using a lot of techno stuff. And he's looking for some donations. He's made a video about it. I shared it on the No Name RC podcast and my socials as well. So go check them out. Good job, Wing. Slowest Fast podcast, RC podcast. It's another podcast. It's Taylor DeLosa and a couple other guys. They're doing the out of the Northeast, doing their podcast. I like what they're doing. I've been following them. So shout out to those guys. Keep up the good work. I'll be on Wheel and Trigger next week when this drops live with them. I don't know if Brent's going to be there because I know he has a race. So I don't know if he's going to be at his race. He has 2 races. He has a race this weekend and a race the following weekend. So I don't know how that's going to work. But I'll be on that. A shout out to LCRC. They actually had a storm, lost their roof on their house that's attached to the track, and they got it back. Not got it back, but the community around there came together to put their roof on. They are not moved back in their house. They're redecorating inside. But and they're still holding races. They had a race this past weekend. 46 RC did the coverage. So shout out to all those people. If I missed you, I do apologize. Thank you, everybody that shows us some love and shows us support and rocks our stickers, rocks our swag. I am looking to do a made to order shop, I think now, Max, where basically you pay if you want to get a shirt or a hat. You just, you know how you basically get it made to order. So we're looking to do that because people want stickers, people want shirts and hats and all that stuff, and it's just not feasible to ship all that stuff out. So we're looking forward to that as well. Lots of things going on. We're back full blast. And Max, I guess we should get right into our catch up brought to you by J Concepts. Big shout out to J Concepts for all their support. I was up there with the INS. It was a good time. And we had a lot of fun up there. So big shout out to J Concepts for all their support and being our title sponsor here. So let's get talking about us, Max. So we know that I've been kind of on the road for 5 weeks. I got to do some racing. I went to some races, went to PMB, did that, then did some racing in Florida, went to a race up in Georgia, which I liked. It was a nice layout, North Georgia shootout. I actually did race on it. I didn't race the entire weekend, but I raced on it. It was a very good layout, by the way. I just wanted to say that Brian Burnett did a very good layout, probably one of the best I've been on. And I've been having fun as an e-truggyist. As a professional e-truggyist, started my
You
career
raced?
bottom. Yes, I raced in the rookie class at the Florida RC Championships. My second appearance there in that class, and my nemesis Brooke beat me once again. And
2-0 now.
she beats me all the time. She's fast, but it was fun. And I raced 10 scale, by the way. I raced outdoor sugar track 10 scale. That's right. Outdoor sugar track 10 scale racing down at Newberry. I did that. I raced Patrick's, I think it's a 13.5 two-wheel drive short course truck, which is really good. Like, he's really good at that. And his truck is really good. So he bought that down. So I raced that. And, Danny Paz, who's a short course master as well.
He's a short course master.
Oh, yeah. He loves short course racing. That's what he, started with. He started putting GoPros on short course trucks. True story. I opted to race him in his class of choice. Actually, 4x4 short course is his class of choice. But he got so nervous because I was so fast. My pace was incredible. And, I was out there in practice, looking good, doing all the jumps. Like, it was like supercross. Like, out the back straight was like rhythm section. Short course was looking good. But, he kind of backed out, had some excuses about he had to work. And then they were going to race the ready to run car. And then we was going to do that. So I went out and bought tires for the ready to run car. And then they backed out all completely. So I take that as a win, a forfeiture as a win.
Yeah, that's like, like in the football match, you can just forfeit the match and the opponent wins. Like, this is that,
Yeah, I take a win as a win.
I think this counts a win. So this is now 1-1. He won the first battle.
No, he won. He won. I won that one. Then we raced E-Truggy the following weekend, and he beat me immensely bad.
Oh, so it's 2-1 for him?
No, just 1-0 for 2025.
Oh, okay.
Were you worried about last year?
You're...
Yeah, last year's last year. Last year's last year.
Oh,
don't worry about
I think... Okay. So we're not counting last year then?
No, never. Unless I won, then you'd count it.
Yeah, but I think he beat you at least once.
Yeah, but nefariously. Yeah, Danny wins by nefarious ways. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I met Danny only once, so I cannot speak from deep experience on this case. But there's just something about him. That smile, it's it's just like the vibe of him is that, on the outside, he's a pretty young man.
He doesn't like working with you when it comes to doing artwork. That's for sure. That is for sure.
I know, but
you are very frustrated.
I actually like him with artwork because, like, usually people don't tell where they get frustrated, but he's like, Max, this is too much, So he gets annoyed, but that's fine. It's the smile, like, you never know, like, someday he shows up with like a bloody shovel, and you just don't know what he's done, but he's done something bad.
He's buried you. With 5 weeks on the road with Danny Paz and everybody, it was fun. But I think getting to race was really important because I haven't done it for quite some time. So it was good to just enjoy myself. And I think it was Julian Oliveras' old man, Jose, that came on and goes, I was watching you at the race the other day, and you was in the pits talking shit, having fun, talking smack. You got your ass kicked, but you still had fun. I said, yeah, because I don't care about where I finished. I just care that I had fun. So it was cool. Very cool. And I want to race now. I want to race more. So that's the problem when I do things like that. My techno truck is great. Like, I did absolutely nothing to it. I'm on the same pair of wheels. Patrick gave me a set of wheels, 2 sets of wheels and tires. I'm using both of those tires. The truck's running great. It just probably needs a refresh on it. I spent my load on 10 scale tires. Like, I was chasing the tire, right? Because you needed a good tire. Oh, I prefer carpet racing, where you just have one tire. It lasts a long time. I'm not good enough to notice the drop off in performance on it. So, but that was fun. And I was paying retail for my tires too, and I ended up running 2 classes. So that was fun. Like I said, best layout was at North Georgia Shootout. Was a great race, and coolest thing I saw was Sean Van Dalen and his Diff Fan. I should have got a picture, but I was telling you about it, and it's a fan that goes on the diff, blows air on the clutch assembly and the diff assembly. Like, so it uses, as the diff turns, it turns air, and he says it's 30 degrees less than normal temperature of things. So interesting stuff. Innovation comes in small steps. You're muted, dude. You're muted.
I just noticed I was muted. Yeah. So I remember at the Worlds when I saw Drake with like an electric fan. But here we're talking about just a fan shape mounted on the diff that's already spinning, you know. So
think of it as a ring.
ring
that goes around the diff, and it has veins, diagonal veins. So when it spins, it blows air on the clutch assembly and the diff assembly. And he says 30 degrees less temperature there.
Yeah. So basically, sure, you're adding some resistance, but it's fucking minimal. Okay. Like, it's not going to make you, let's say, 5 seconds of mileage, if even that. But yeah, I remember at the Worlds, Drake had his, I saw his electric fan, powered by the receiver battery on the motor. I think this is going to be one of the next sort of high-tech things that's going to happen in RC, like actively cooling stuff on the car. When you said this to me, like now, just before we started recording, I was like, okay, it's interesting, but like it's a gadget. But now that I've like had a moment of thinking about this, I actually I've been thinking about how to do better cooling for the motor without the fucking heatsink, because that's like the dumbest way to cool anything. Just put material on it that's gonna sink the heat. That's just dumb, you know? Like, yes, it makes sense, but it's kind of like heating your house up with a electric radiator. That's just waste energy, you know? So I think these guys are onto something. I think this is going to be a big thing in the future, active cooling in our cars. So thank you, Keenan, for bringing this to our attention.
I should have gotten a picture of it. Innovation comes in ways we don't think, right?
Yeah.
We always scream for innovation, but who would think that a little fan like this is very innovative and keeping temperatures on things like that? And Sean Van Dalen's a smart guy. He was showing me his single arm, one disc setup for nitro vehicles, so they don't have no front and rear bias, just one brake cam, one big ring, one big disc, one brake caliper. So it's pretty cool stuff. Max, what about you? What have you been up to real quick? I know you was heavily in politics for a little bit with your party, and hopefully that's over and done with and you're back to RC.
I hope so. I thought, it's the government. No, I thought it's only on the governmental level where the politicians are snakes. But even on the fucking local level, I walked in there to the negotiations and shit, and it's a fucking snake pit. These people, outside the room, they're laughing, oh, haha, nice to meet you. You're such a great guy. Then you go in and they're just trying to fuck each other over in every single fucking way. And it's just dumb. And it's fucking adult people, fucking 60-year-old people trying to get something, not even change anything. They just want their guy to do things. Everyone's kind of agreeing on what should be done, but it's just a fucking power battle. It's so ridiculous. And I'm fucking tired of this shit. Because I thought you campaign, you get the votes, it's done. And yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So we can focus back on RC. That's what life's all about.
To just hugging trees and
being disappointed. Now, you know what they say, never meet your heroes. You know, you might be
Well,
disappointed. Well, there you
these
go.
guys never been my heroes, but I thought they was at least like more like authentic than the the high up people. If this is fucking local, it's not a big city I live in, so. But yeah, whatever.
Back to RC.
We
Finish
we, we
nationals
gotta
going on.
finish nationals. I've been trying to because I love to work for no money. So I've been organizing the Finnish National Series today. Yeah, well, I've been organizing for a few years now, but today I've been working a lot on that. Less than a month now to the first race. Haven't yet ran a day on the track. Car still right off the track from last year's race, but I'll try. I think I can beat Pekko in one or two of the tracks. Most likely just one.
Yeah,
But every
because
other
Yuna's
track,
not
he'll
there no
probably-
more. Yuna's
Yeah, I
not
don't
in
know.
Germany.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming over much, if at all, this summer. So it's gonna be just me and Pekko. We have this one guy who won the Ebuggy series last summer. He beat me, but he's young, fast. Switched to Mayako for this year, so he could be good in Nitro this year as well. So I might actually have to battle with the kids, and Pekko is just a lap ahead. Who knows?
There you go.
But yeah,
Or with JQ. You battle with
I'm back
JQ.
in. I don't think he's gonna drive. He should drive, but I don't think he needs to be a mechanic for Pekko. I don't even know if Pekko is gonna actually drive all the races. I hope he does.
Maybe. We'll see. All right. Well, do you have anything to add before we go on to our topics?
Not really. Can we? Okay, let's do this. Because I don't know if we're gonna talk about Mason Fuller much on this podcast. Should we just talk about him now?
Let's get that geek out, right? Let's get it up. But before we do that, let's pay some bills, okay? The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Yep.
I am the RC Oracle.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy. With plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Thank you, ML Toys, for your support. That's right. We might as well just talk about it, right? Mason Fuller has done what we have all been waiting for. And some.
2 years now. Yeah, 2 years now at least.
More than 2 years. More than 2 years.
2.5. Yeah, 2.5.
3.
3? When did he join S-Works? Oh, HB, sorry. Was it
4 years
when he
ago?
Really?
I think he did 2 years
No,
on
it
HB.
can't be.
Or 1.5 years on HB. I have been Team Fuller since they won TLR, buddy.
Yeah, because you're right. It's been over 3 years. So
That's right.
Because I remember when he won that Ebuggy race with TLR, and then he joined HB, we was like, okay, when is he gonna win his big 8-scale race? And then he was close. Was he second at Silver State, or third at Silver State a few times, second at some of these big races,
Second at Nationals. Lots of seconds. Lots of seconds, lots of thirds, lots of top fives, lots of heartache, lots of flame outs, all that type of stuff. But finally, the prophecy has been fulfilled. Danny now calls me the RC Oracle.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, as I drove, he was driving on the road from North Georgia Shootout to Florida. And Roach goes in our chat, one of our chats, he goes, "Oh, your man just swept everything at Silver State." I just smiled.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care about any of the other races. All I cared about was Nitro.
Yeah, and the thing was, didn't he like TQ all 4 classes too?
He TQ'd all 3 besides E-Truggy.
But he won E-Truggy then too.
He did.
Yeah, so because I remember watching the results, because obviously I'm not awake when Silver State happens. It's so
he ran away with it.
Yeah, but I was watching the results. I was like, okay, sure, TQ, Ebuggy, TQ, Truggy, and then like, okay, TQ, Nitro Buggy, that's promising. And then I was like, okay, win Ebuggy, win Nitro Truggy, and I'm like, if he now doesn't win Nitro Buggy, we it's like, because that's all us two care about. That's all we care about. So it's like, if he doesn't win that, we're gonna have to give shit to the guy who won all 3 classes but one, and even TQ'd that class he didn't win. But he came through. He was. This was like a performance that, he was close, and then he fucking leaped over the line. Like he didn't just go over the line. He jumped 10 feet in front of it. I don't know. Like,
I'm waiting for you to finish so I can say what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Okay, everyone who's listening, this is high level of sarcasm, but I think we did it, me and you. Because you remember at the beginning of the year,
we was doubting the prophecy.
We said that maybe we was putting false hope in this guy. Like maybe he's good for a second. Maybe he's good for a third, but maybe he's just not a Mayfield or a Phend. And I know he somewhat at least listens to the podcast. He knows about us. I bet someone sent him a clip of that. So, I'd even go as far as argue. I think if we did not say that, he would not have won Silver State in that fashion, at least. Okay, I'd go as far as that. And please remember, I'm obviously kidding here. It's like he probably knew what we said, but it had been coming. But it just, we always talk about that plateau with young racers. His plateau was just really high up there, and then but
it took him a while. It took him a while.
Huge congrats to Mason. That was a incredible performance, and that's a big monkey off his back.
Probably one of the most dominating performances in a single weekend over multiple classes by one driver. Now, we've seen Mayfield sweep DNC at these races because all the top guys are running Ebuggy. Ebuggy is a valid top classer because everybody's running it. Yes, we had our doubts, and how dare we have our doubts about the prophecy like that? I think he just going into this race because he came out of DNC where he knows he should have won that race. He should have won that race, and he came second. And then PNB, he could have probably won it too. Maybe it had been a normal race, he probably would have won it, not with the Joker lanes. But he had a good second, and the thing is, he's winning Truggy, he's winning Ebuggy. He's beating these guys in other classes, so he's beating them. And then to do this at Silver State on this type of track, like everything came to fruition. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about his engine program at some point. SIC had some flameouts, and but he kind of pulled it off. They got his things. They got everything together. He had a flawless race. I haven't even watched it. I just know he led from start to finish, and he was not perfect. He only led. He was 177 laps that he done in all his classes, and he led 170 of them. So he didn't lead every single lap. Maybe
but I mean, probably most of them probably came from Ebuggy because he didn't TQ that one.
So he absolutely dominated. But what I think happens here is he rides this wave of confidence. He's been confident all this time. He knows he can beat him. He doesn't say much. People's like, you should get him on the podcast. I'm like, he does not say much. Right? He does not say much at all.
I tried to dig stuff from him, but he was just like, I just go out and drive and then I race it.
But I think that he now goes to they have a little break. They go to Thornhill for the Lone Star / Nats warm up here shortly. It should be like in the next week or so, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be a jam-packed Nationals, jam-packed Lone Star. I feel he goes in there, he wins this. He goes into the Nationals on a very high note with the possibility of winning this. He is going to have to run all 3 classes at this race. 4, sorry. I don't predict a sweep. It'll be very difficult. He will have a very fast, motivated Dakotah Phend to 10 with too, that he did not have at Silver State.
So I have to say, because it's Thornhill, you can't really count Rivkin out. He's
Not
won
at
here
all.
twice.
Not at all. Not at all. So it's going to be interesting. I think he has that confidence built to where we was hoping that maybe when Rose won at SIC, he would ride some confidence. But Rose, while still very good results in the top fives and stuff like that, has not gone on to beat these guys in Ebuggy or E-Truggy or Nitro Truggy in other races like Mason Fuller has. So I think all their hard work came together. Jake, you tried to piss in his cornflakes on the last podcast, like, did the independent media cover it? Does anybody know? I'm like, of course people know, Jake. You don't try to make a point off somebody else's victory. You wouldn't want somebody to do that. But I think this now opens up the floodgates. He'll do well. And let's see what Mason Fuller does. Like, if I had a little like Mason Fuller flag, I'll be waving it right now. So
yeah, and I think
in
this
trouble.
I think this finally also puts him at like definite number one in the S-Works team. You know,
it's hard to say.
Not in front of Canas, but in America.
Yeah.
Like now there's like no discussion. Sure, it kind of happened already. Huh?
Canas came second. Like,
yeah. I think Canas is still number one, but I think like this is because last year it was kind of like, is it Rose or is it Fuller? But now it's kind of like in America,
there's no more
there's
Rose.
Fuller.
There's no more Rose in South S-Works.
Yeah. So it's like Fuller's in America, Canas is in Europe, and then you might have someone step in once in a while. You know, that's kind of what I think the vibe will be within the S-Works team. And I just think like this was a big result, not only because of like it's a dominating win, but like what time it comes, because he's made the World's A main now. He's finished in the podium at Nationals twice now, or once, I don't know. Either way, and he's had some good results, but he's not yet like a Phend or a Mayfield level driver who you can just say, hey, pay me $5,000 a month and I'll come drive your car, which they could, like they could do that, both Phend and Mayfield. But yeah, I think Fuller, this is kind of a step that, okay, now can be considered in that category. So
absolutely.
And
you know what?
To him, and
it was a great weekend for S-Works. Like they dominated in truck, and that's where I thought Techno would be the best Techno driver, Joao Figueiredo in the 8-scale buggy final. Who would have thought? Yeah,
that was I have to say I didn't follow Silverstone that much. I followed just kind of what results came out, but considering like this has usually been quite of a strong Techno race, it was surprisingly quiet this time around. Could it be that they focused more on the tracks like DNC? Maybe, I don't know, but
this is very similar to DNC. Very similar.
Yeah, it should be, but it was interesting. I see, because it was clear just looking at the results that S-Works was working. Like Barrier made the final with the truck. Never drives truck. S-Works truck shouldn't be that good, to be honest. Like it hasn't been before compared to like a Techno or something. But clearly now they figured something out for Silverstone. And I mean, Canas won this race last year, so it's not like they haven't been good here before. But yeah,
I agree.
All credit to Fuller. Congrats. Also, it's a big thing beating Canas. Same car, same engine, same tires. Canas won it last year. He's a European champion. He a double European champion, and I was going to say world champion, but TQ at the world. And so it's like on a 100% equal playing field. He beat Canas. That's something. That is something.
That is something. He built the number one driver in S-Works at that point at a race that he won the year before. Big point. Another big point that came out of her was little bump, third. But he always does well at this race. So
He
interesting.
does, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not like we can take anything away from it. It's still a third at Silver State.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think it's like Little Bump. He's kind of, when he joined Kyosho, it was like if he makes the main, like he usually makes the main, but then he usually is at the bottom of the main. That was when he joined Kyosho, except for that incredible run at Silver State a few years ago when Barufalo won. But when he joined Kyosho, that was kind of his position, like in the main, but near the bottom. But last 12 months or so, it's been different. It's been very different. Like Worlds, he was really close to making the main. I think he was like second best or third best American after qualifiers. Nationals podium, Silver State now third. He's also like these two, Fuller and Fee. They're onto something.
I would agree. You know what else I learned? Fun fact. Barufalo's family used to, or are the Fiorani people. They made Fiorani. Didn't know that. Found that out this past week. Did not know that.
Neither. But that's
Fun
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So congratulations once again to Mason Fuller. Domination. I think he goes on to dominate. He has confidence. I'm not saying he's going to win every race out there, but he's going to be in the fight. Now he was in the fight, and now he's going to be there scrapping like boom. Let's go. Maybe he'll start opening up a little bit more. You'll see. All right, let's get on to let's get on to some RC news brought to you by Hi-Tech. Looking for top tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? Hi-Tech RCD has you covered with industry leading chargers and servos for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, Hi-Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high-torque servos to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust Hi-Tech to keep you in control. Hi-Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hightechrcd.com. They are doing direct sales now. Let them know you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. I see them at the Joe Knoll, biggest fly-in the world. They wanted me to go this year. I was not able to go, but absolutely. All right, Max, let's go through. We have some cars here. I saw this too. Do you want to bring it up? The MCD, their 1/8 scale GT, as this class continues to get more and more contenders in the market for it. And this is also one of the classes that's embracing the electric side. With that said, did you see that awesome video I posted up with Nitro GT versus GP versus an electric GP? Not this, the wedge-shaped Formula 1 2-speed one. And the Nitro won in the end, by the way.
The electric, because the electric ones, they don't have suspension. So it's basically just a fucking plank.
Really?
Yeah.
No suspension.
Well, I mean, there's two types. And this is, again, a little bit ridiculous. I'm not going to go in too big of a spiel, but they have suspensioned GP cars and then these like pan car style electric GP cars.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know why they have both, but they're trying to figure it out. But those plank style cars, they're freaking fast. It's insane. The GP cars are fast, period, but these electric ones are really fast. But back to GT, MCD. A lot of you fifth scale guys must know this brand. This is like the fifth scale brand, I gotta say. Like, well, okay, I could be wrong, but it's my idea of the fifth scale brand because I know Pekka, he drives for MCD or drove. I don't know if he drives fifth scale anymore. They've always been sort of like real big innovators. They have these suspension, all that stuff. And they've moved on to GT. So this is like really close actually to fifth scale because it's all aluminium. And it's not fifth scale, but it's closest to fifth scale as you can get. There's not really much that interesting about the car. I just kind of wanted to point that out because they've been teasing it for a while. They've been solely fifth scale brand for as long as I know. And yeah, it looks like any. Well, I mean, all of the GT cars have something special. We're gonna touch a little bit on the rules they brought out because it's a Worlds here for this class as well. Definitely not optimized suspension geometry in my opinion, but they looked they focused
This
on
looks
some
like a
other
smaller
things.
fifth scale, like you said.
Well, that's exactly that's very well said because that was my exact first thought that it pretty much looked like any of the fifth scale cars, but it's just small down, which is it's not a bad thing necessarily, but
So you don't
just
think this is a
the
competitive
similarity.
platform?
I what is this questioning?
I'm asking
I
the way
don't
you're
know.
talking
Like
about it.
I don't know, dude. It can be. There's definitely some interesting features about it. Um, I think the suspension geometry is not going to be optimal. I think there's better ways to do things. But the thing is that all of these GT cars are so different that and a lot of people seem to make them work. That I'm not going to say I don't know. Like it could work, it could not work. And by the way, this is only electric, so not it's not at all for the nitro. I don't even know if they have a nitro, but they have this electric one. But yeah. More manufacturers coming in. And this is a European. I think they manufacture most of their stuff in Europe. So it's nice to see that not every company does their stuff in Far East China or Far East Asia, which means China or Taiwan.
All right. We'll keep it GT and move it to the new Spec tire that you have up here as well. Let's touch on this real quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on this because we've been big proponents for, EFRA, ROAR, and even IFMAR taking Spec tire into consideration when organizing these big races. The Euros will be Spec tire this year, and 40 plus Euros as well. But at the GT Euros, apparently they had some issues. I don't really know much about this story. They're gonna have the Euros in Germany, and they had this supplier PMT, quality issues. I don't know how this happens. Okay, I don't know like what is the procedure EFRA uses, but like this should not happen. Because I've been doing for the Finnish series, we use Spec tire. So the way we test it is we contact all the suppliers that are available in Finland specifically. Then we say, okay, we need a tire that lasts long, is relatively cheap and high quality, and each tire is the same. That's an important factor when you have a Spec tire. And then we test it out. I'm 99% sure that nobody from EFRA does any testing for these tires. I don't know for sure. So this is only a alleged thing, but I don't think they test this out. And that is something that I am definitely against, because a Spec tire shouldn't be that the lowest bidder gets it. So like some companies like, hey, you can get these tires for fucking $10 a set, and after like, oh yeah, we can make money, or the race organizers like, we can make money off of these because we can sell them to the racers for like $30 a set, and it's still a decent price. It's less than at the store. But if there's shit tires that break out, like happened at the 10 scale touring car Euros in Hoodie Arena, you remember that when the tires just blew up in the middle of the straight? I don't know if there's other examples of these tire catastrophes. But this is like just idiotic that you select a tire and then people are like, this tire sucks. Like, how do you not know that beforehand?
Well, it looks like I read this here, and it says that the actual company pulled out, said we can't respectively We believe it's our duty, out of respect for the organization and drivers, to step back from the 2025 championship supply, as we are currently unable to ensure quality standards required for such a prestigious event. So they step back.
Sure, but like the reason is that they had Italian nationals
Mhm.
that had quality issues. So I don't know. Okay, again, I don't know what the quality issues are, but there was quality issues which I think are like the tire just breaking or gluing, it coming unglued or something. I don't know. And then they was like, we are not going to be taking a risk, which is great
Fair.
for them. Like I'm not blaming the manufacturer at all at this, but I'm blaming like EFRA. Like, how is it possible that you pick a tire without ensuring that there are no quality issues? Okay, benefit of the doubt. It could be that there was no quality issues before. The manufacturer has had some issues now with its production line. Let's say they broke a machine and they cannot fix that machine and they have had to get a new one and the machine doesn't work in a way as the previous one. That's entirely possible. And that's fine. But I don't think that that's what happened. I think what happened was they didn't test the tire. This company talked to the race organizer, talked to EFRA, was like, hey, we can make tires. They didn't check that the quality was good enough for this application. Could be that on some other tracks they work well, but on these tracks they don't. And then this is what happens. They have to pull out. And luckily they pulled out. It wasn't like the quality issues happened at the Euros, which would have been a total disaster. But I already spoke with people from EFRA before the last AGM that there has to be a process where you test these tires. And here is a perfect example of what happens when you don't. And it could have been even worse. They could be just like, yeah, we don't talk about these quality issues. We're going to fix them before the Euros, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't fix it. And then it fucking sucks. So I absolutely vouch for Spec tire, but it has to be that an independent person that does not know the monetary side at all gives an idea of how the tire handles on the track. And then if two tires are tied together, you know, they are good, equally good, the two tires, then you pick the cheaper one. But if one tire is really good and the other tire sucks and the sucky tires is cheap, you never pick that one because you don't pick a sucky tire. So it turned into, I thought it was going to be like, hey, they just switch the tire. But then I realized that I actually have something to rant about. So let's
and
move
you
forward.
ranted. Let's move forward. Forward to TC8 really quickly. So a lot of the Associated guys have been waiting for this. Is there anything special about this car that's different from anything out there right now? Easy. That's all I want to know right now.
You want to hear the PC answer or the honest answer?
Give me the honest answer. I don't care.
No.
So it's just like a copy of any other touring car out there. It looks like a X-ray-esque.
It's not. It's definitely not a copy. I can tell that much.
Okay.
Let's say that it has taken influence from the innovations that X-Ray made, but it's not like an X-Ray. It's different from X-Ray. For example, X-Ray has this issue that the front shocks are not able to be mounted as wide as you would want them. So because of the steering geometry hits the shock. And you could fix it, but when they designed the car, they didn't take that into account. Associated has taken that into account, and the shocks are mounted out more outwards in the front. Rear end is, to my eyes, just like any other platform. Mid motor, equal length belts. Two things that I think are bad is they have plastic arms without any carbon insets. It's too soft. Another one, if I remember correctly, let me double check. The drive shafts. Yes, the drive shafts don't have bearings on them. So when usually touring cars, because they're very intricate, the drive shafts have bearings before they go to the outdrives. So the drive shaft can, move freely within the outdrive. Here, there's more friction because of the fact that there is no bearing. So a little bit of, I don't know if it's a conscious choice. Could be. It could be a tuning option as well. I'm not counting that out, but I don't think it is. I think it's an oversight. I'm being really negative today. I know I'm not giving people the benefit of the doubt today. But yeah, back to the car itself. I do want to point. So the positive is that they look at XRAY, the 2024 X4. Basically, that's what this car has taken as an inspiration in some way. Definitely not a copy. We get over that, but some inspiration from the innovations they made. Cool thing, adjustable KPI. I don't know if any other brand has this. Some brand probably has this. I think Axon may have this, but like they have C-Hub anyway, so it's a different setup altogether. But at least from the more popular touring cars, first one I've seen with the adjustable KPI. So big thumbs up for that. Other than that, I don't see anything too cool or innovative on this one, which is fine. Like there's so many cars out the market that these things are bound to look similar at some point. But I think the big news about this is like AE is back to on-road. I don't think they have any driver, but at least they're back on the market. So
I mean, yeah, I was about to say, who's gonna drive this competitively for them to compete against some of the best in the world?
I mean, the designer Kyle Klingford, I'm pretty sure he's decent in stock, at least on the American level. He's not like top of the world, but he's like pretty good. Like at least in America, he can finish. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know for sure, but I've understood that he's pretty decent. I don't think they're going to be signing anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is just like a way to make a little bit of money. They do have fast drivers that are still interested in on-road. So maybe for those guys, they kind of do well on a club level. And yeah, like for example, in Finland, there's a really good dealer for Associated. Pretty much everyone at that club drives Associated or Schumacher for that matter, because they sell both. But they're bound to sell a few touring cars. So I think that's all what they want from this. Okay. Let's move to the more interesting stuff. Let me actually bring up the TLR so I can zoom in.
Bring up the TLR, and let's keep this to a watermelon seed capacity.
Watermelon seed capacity?
Yes. I think that's Hunter King's car, who did make the finals in stock this past weekend.
Yeah, I wrote a...
No, that's not Hunter King's car. He doesn't run Trinity.
Yeah, I don't know who this is. Either way, TLR finally released a new two-wheel buggy just when all of their pro guys... Maybe it was that they just needed to get rid of their team so they have money to make a new car. I don't know. Phend was driving this thing at the late parts of last year with pretty good results. I think he won at... No, did he win? I can't remember, but he did pretty well.
Where do you think he
wasn't...
He didn't win at Carpet Champs, and he didn't win at Beach RC, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so then he didn't win. But either way, he did okay. So it wasn't like it was bad at all. So first impressions, we already talked about this car back then, like the first impressions. Rear shock tower in front of the rear shocks but still in front of the arm. So the rear shock tower is like really far forwards. Front shock tower, TLR has been one of those cars with the shocks in front of the tower. Now the tower is in front of the shocks. So they like to move the shocks behind the tower. And to be honest, I think this is smart because of the fact that, have you seen those freaking carpet protections on these cars? Like a Schumacher had that carpet protection thing on over the shocks. That thing was ugly as hell. So I'd much rather take this than that. So as a designer, I would probably keep that in mind. So good job for TLR for this one. Yeah, so shock towers look different. Obviously, everything is pretty much new. Biggest differences in geometry, at least to what I initially see, is that they do have longer arms. They have extended the arms a bit. That's by looking at the eye. I haven't measured. Interesting, like the most interesting thing about this car, I gotta kind of bring this down again, is that you can actually tune the front end geometry. So you can see here's the, is this now the, yeah, this is the carpet, I guess, edition. So you have a higher offset here with the kingpin brought in, and then you have a lower offset with the kingpin brought out. So I don't know. Okay, I gotta be honest. I don't know why you need two knuckles, but let's get that out of the way. The interesting part is that you have two offsets on the hub. So you can play with this. You can introduce more offset, less offset, more scrub, less scrub, independently, which, to my knowledge, no other brand does. So an interesting tuning option because you can switch them around. And it's interesting to see how that will play out. Other than that, it's a two-wheel drive buggy.
So would you say that this? I asked this question in our group chat. Basically, this buggy is caught up to the rest of the other 10 scale buggies out there, pretty much. Quick access diffs, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Let's say it's not a big innovation, but it's definitely different from the other buggies. Like it's not like when they call the Mugen a copy of the TLR. This is like its own new thing. Like,
got you.
The front end is like very similar looking to AE, and the rear end, I gotta be honest, is also somewhat similar looking to AE. But what I think they actually did was they kind of looked at their own car. The TLR has been said to be a really good one. And then they looked at AE, and then they was like, okay, what things we're suffering and what the things they're good at. And then they brought sort of both options available into one car. And then they updated to plastics and so on. But, there's nothing that crazy new and innovative about this. But it's a modern car, which I think will handle well and will sell decently at the very least.
Yeah, I know there's people that are TLR pure diehards will get it, and they'll have it. They'll have a modern car. Hunter King did really well with it. He made both A finals. He kind of got screwed in the beginning of one of his finals.
Yeah.
That's his specialty stock. It comes back to Bill says it. We've said it. They don't have a team, but it's still going to sell some cars because it's people were excited about it, and I get it. I'm not gonna piss in the cornflakes of the TLR guys. I get it. You're excited. You got a new car. It's good. Hopefully, we'll see some on the tracks. But still, at the end of the day, on a top level, they still don't have anybody to compete with it, and that's. I get excited, but I don't get excited. If that makes sense. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, like, if you want the old TLR, you buy a Mugen. If you want the old Associated, you buy an XRAY. If you want the new Associated, you buy an Associated. And if you want something new, that's probably going to work, and it's probably going to be decently priced. And well, parts availability has been a question, so scrap that idea. But I think TLR, when you look at objectively the market without this team perspective, it's not a bad buy. I would consider it, like if I was just like objectively trying to buy a car without considering like that Horizon might have parts shortages.
We're gonna go to commercial because you're starting to sound like a Horizon corporate shill.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
Thank you, Techno RC, for all your support. Congratulations to all the TLR guys. You have a new car and a new truck coming. Max, pull up the Hong Nor link real quick so we can talk about that. I'm going to talk about Ronnefalk and Jaden Edmunds both joining HOTRACE. Not surprised. I know that Nicola has wanted Ronnefalk to join HOTRACE for quite some time. My question would be, no offense to Ronnefalk, when I remember when he was going to go Matrix, like it was either HOTRACE or Matrix. Does Ronnefalk still carry that same monetary value that he was probably going to get at that point? No, I don't think so. Not right now. But
no, definitely not.
Yeah, because he was much at a different level in his career at that point, and he's not there right now. He did go to I did see that he went to the Hootie race series, this race, and then Jaden Edmunds, the young man from Australia who won the first round of the New Zealand race in the Mayako and infamously kind of resigned from Matrix there. And it's like, yeah, I was supposed to be, he's got like a big Matrix thing. I was running J Concepts tires because the Matrix ones didn't work. I was like, oof. Pretty much that's what he said. He joins HOTRACE, and that was pretty savage. I'm pretty sure Matrix was not happy about that.
Yeah, I think that was crazy because no, he's not getting paid at all for Matrix. You know, he's a young up-and-comer from Australia. So Matrix doesn't give a shit, you know? Like, that's how it is, you know?
Did he get in trouble, though?
He did?
I think he got in trouble for saying that.
Yeah. They said that that the owner's brother lives in America and is a lawyer.
No, he didn't do that one to him, but they were like, I don't know the full extent, but I know he got told off. But he was like, I don't care.
Yeah, but I think that's such a baller moment that you're like, okay, let me try these tires. I'm going to be running them for this year. And then you're just like, this thing isn't working out. You switch and you actually win. You know, not like Testman who switched to J Concepts and still sucked at Neo, or like, who else have done it? Bayer's done it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Or XRAY has kind of been without the sponsor. But anyway, like, actually making good of switching the tires, and then you're like, I ran the Matrix tires, but they just suck.
Also,
then switching brand.
I'd say also I didn't even recognize this, but Ronnefalk taking a tire deal, right? When he went off tires, now he's back taking a tire deal. So it's weird, definitely weird. I don't know.
Well, let me.
Oh shit! Do you have a theory about this too? Can we keep it to like
no
25,
I don't have
30 seconds?
This is actually very simple. It's about money, you know. He was at the high point of his career, winning the Euros, coming just a few minutes from the end of leading a world championship to winning, with no tire sponsor, okay? And then comes a company, offers him like a ridiculous amount of money for tire sponsorship, you know, like a significant pay raise just to run the tires, you know, and more than the fucking reigning world champion too, you know. Like, from what I know, he was getting paid significantly more
than
Ongaro at Matrix. So if I was him, would I take the money? Probably. Like, the amount of money he got from Matrix at that time, it was fucking ridiculous for a tire deal. But then again, like sacrificing everything for that, you ruined everything. Well, I'm not saying that, but everything at Mayako went to shit after you switched the tires, and definitely not a good year at XRAY. Like he was okay, but definitely not like Ronnefalk's the best A-skill driver in the world. No, he's not anymore. And then you kind of come back, probably gets decent amount of money from HOTRACE still, but not a lot. And this whole thing about, we don't take tire sponsors at XRAY and blah, 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 blah. It's like, if you could make one bad decision or one decision that sounds good, but is in reality bad, this is like the prime example of it. Like, obviously you couldn't do it back then, but like, if you look back, like that choice of joining Matrix back then, when he could have probably joined HOTRACE then with a good deal, not as good, but with a good deal.
Kind of started the snowball effect, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, I think he should have joined HOTRACE to begin with. Like, he always ran HOTRACE when he was running Mayako too. So, like, I really don't understand.
All right.
It's okay. It's okay.
I would not argue any of those points. I think that's what started the snowball, and it just snowballed from there on out. Bring up this Horne. Let's have a quick look at it, and then GT Ebuggy Worlds. Then we have to get into some race recaps. Already behind schedule.
We don't have a schedule here. We are free flowers here at the NNRC podcast. All right. Again, okay. Thank you to Red RC for all this news, because I've been using your stuff. So I spotted this Horne car. It says X5B Horne is showing their new 8-scale buggy in China. And the thing is, they are a world championship brand, as it says here. They are the reigning 1/8 GT world champion with Tony Gruber. So they are a world championship brand, which like shows from GT, but still okay. But the more I looked at this car, the more it reminded me of something else. You know, we had Sparko, and everyone said that it's a split between HP and S-Works. Well, this one, Horne, it's like I if someone presented this to me next to an HP, I couldn't tell them apart. Like, really, like it's ridiculously similar. So I think it's gonna be actually a decent car, because the old HP was actually a decent car. So, if you guys see a cheap Horne somewhere, you could consider it. It probably is not going to be a terrible deal, because it looks like a decent thing. And Keenan is finally back too. So
I watched all of that. I have no comment about that. That's another car in already flooded marketplace.
Oh, they already had an 8-scale car.
I know.
This is just a new version.
I know all about it. IFMAR released updated. I know all about it because it was hot in the pants in the southeast for a quick minute last year, and it fizzled very fast, unfortunately. But that car looks a lot better than the one that they were running.
Yeah, well, it looks like an HP. So
here we go. So you want to get us a cease and desist? IFMAR released updated rules for GT and Ebuggy. What was so interesting about this? You had to put it in the news, Max.
Well, okay, because this is actually like, you're like, this is nothing. It's actually interesting, and it again involves me and EFRA. So late last year, before the Worlds last year, EFRA collects from each national federation what you would like to change in EFRA rules. I proposed that EFRA would go to, what is it now, 7.6 nominal voltage batteries, which is high voltage batteries, which means that you could charge instead of in 8 scale 4S, you could now charge to 16.8. And then if this rule would change, you could charge to 17.2. Okay. So that was my suggestion. I wasn't the only one who suggested that, by the way. Other countries suggested that too. And it passed. So in Europe, now when the Ebuggy Euros come, they race in Spain. If you have a battery with a nominal voltage of 7.6 HV battery, high voltage battery, you could charge it to 17.2, which is 17.4. Sorry. And yeah, that's that. And the IFMAR released their rules, and they require 16.8. Still, they haven't changed it. So that is going to be a big difference, because we all know that these people have issues. Like, let's say Kilich. He has issues with his batteries lasting for 10 minutes. That's why he runs those freaking 8,000 milliamp batteries. And he's probably not going to be the only one, because the IBC is not an easy track. It's high grip. It's incredibly big. It's high speed. You're going to use a lot of power, a lot of braking too, because you have jumps, you have stoppers, you have all of that. So you're going to be using a lot of energy for that 10-minute main. Now, a lot of these guys are going to go to the Euros. They're going to charge their batteries up to 17.4, and then they're going to go to the Worlds, and they can only charge up to 16.8. Is it dumb that we don't use the full capacity of the batteries? Yes. Was I expecting IFMAR to react as fast as EFRA did? No. But this is going to be a thing like the fucking Tiregate. That at the Euros it was fine, but at the Worlds it was like not fine. And IFMAR even changed that now. Your tires have to be measured after the race. So I'm just saying, I have to critique these guys again. Like, just please, let's all try to make the same rules. Because I'm like 99% sure America doesn't give a shit about which voltage you charge your batteries into. I could be wrong. But now at the Worlds, it is going to be a thing. And also, another addition to these rules is they added a penalty requirement. So if you go to the check-in and you are 16.8 to 17, then you have a chance to check one more time before you're disqualified, before you even go out on the fucking track. And then if you're over 17, which can happen if your charge settings are wrong, you get a straight DQ when you go to the pre-tech. So you go to pre-tech, and they say, hey, you can go out on the track if you want, but your time is not going to count. So, like,
I would understand if this was like stock class.
Yeah.
But it's not. And it's dumb.
I know.
I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I think it's so fucking dumb. But
yeah.
What can we expect?
And the reason why I wanted to bring this up in the podcast is because when we go to the Worlds, and most likely me and you both are going to be there, this is going to be a fucking thing there. There's going to be some countries, because I remember when I went to the Ebuggy Euros, the Spanish guys, all the fucking Spanish guys charged their batteries to 70.4. And then they went to check-in, and this was still practice. And these guys were revving their cars like crazy, like 10 people on the line, just going full power, holding their car in the air. You know, just so you can pass tech and go on the track. And then they made a rule for qualifying that if you went to tech and it was over, you're going to get DQ'd even before you go out on the track. And you can't do anything about it. You can't recheck. You can't do anything. And
dumb.
They're gonna uphold this rule at the Worlds. There's like 5 different fucking sections just for this, when all they needed to do was to increase the charging limit to the high voltage, which the batteries can take safely, incredibly safely at that. And Yeah, and on top of this, we're going to have people probably struggling with mileage here. Overheating as well, of course, but mileage.
And that little bit of voltage isn't going to make a fucking difference at all. At all.
Yeah, it's not going to make a difference in terms of power. A little bit, yes. But
in terms of time,
it
mileage.
will,
Yeah,
yes.
of course.
Yeah, because the thing is that the voltage tells that if the battery is full or not. Okay, so if the voltage is the highest, the battery is full. So if you have a 6,000 milliamp battery and you charge it, and it's a high voltage battery, and you charge it to 16.8, it's going to drop down to like 5.5 or something. So you're going to actually lose some of that mileage. And also because you have more voltage, you can drop the power of your speed control and stuff down. So you use less power as well because, you drop the timing, you have less losses, less heating, all of that stuff. So I don't know. It would have been so much smarter just to go to 17.4, and now they stayed at 16.8 and added these all fucking dumb rules on top of it. So expect there to be some kerfuffle again at the IFMAR World Championship.
We better cut this out and make sure people understand that before it is a kerfuffle. Yeah, and I will. All right. Last up was you had some GT rules, or did we talk about that already?
They have the same thing. Yeah, that was pretty much for both. They released it at the same time. There was some weird rule about GT that you have to have a chassis with kick-up. It's like a GT specific rule.
Yeah, because some of those, they don't have kick-up in them.
Yeah, so the rule specifically said that at least until this World Championship, which is at 2025, you will need to have at least 5 degrees of kick-up in the chassis. And after this World Championship, the rule might be changed, which is just so dumb.
Yeah, because they get so much more caster or whatever whatever they're looking for by having no kick-up. Yeah. So that's the reason for that. And some of these cars, probably like the Hung IGT8, not them, but there's Hung based cars have kick-up. I don't know the full thing on that, but yeah, I know they had a GT race this past weekend here in the DR. I should have went, but I didn't. All right. Enough about that. Anything RC news before? I think the most important thing we talked about was the battery voltage for people going to the Ebuggy worlds.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to save it for last, because I kind of expected this to happen, but I thought they'd be smarter about it. But no.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on. Elevate your RC experience with SidePieceRacing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top-tier brands like Automatics, Roche, Wild Turbofan, Montauk Racing, Corsatech, Phoenix Racing, and Will Speed. Whether you're seeking precision-engineered car kits, high-performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we've got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional customer service, ensuring you get the best gear when you need it. Visit SidePieceRacing.com today and race ahead of the competition. Also, to our European listeners, step up your RC racing with Latera Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and tracks dedicated to racers. Featuring top brands like XRAY, Hobbywing, Zoo Racing, and Team Coyote, they provide everything you need, from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by our shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. Thank you to Hefty at Sidepiece, and thank you to Kim and Martin at Latera Racing. All right, let's get right into it. The International Buggy Challenge happened this past weekend at in Barcelona, Portugal, at the Buggy Arena, May 16th to 18th. Obviously, did not have a very good turnout due to it being postponed. This is the race I was supposed to go to. It was just it's been a tough 2 years for this race. Rained out last year. Then this year, rain, as well as the power outage, which really caused it. Canas, Robert Badier, top Spanish guys went. Obviously, João Figueiredo was there. Canas was obviously the toast. Huh?
Coelho went first. Big race.
Coelho
with
was there
Infinity.
too.
Yeah.
Funny thing, somebody sent me a off topic, but if Coelho, somebody sent me a picture of a converted e-buggy, Infinity e-buggy that they've made. Guess what? Using 3D printed aluminum. They 3D printed the aluminum motor housing. I have to bring out the pictures. But yes, Coelho was there, but he really wasn't there because he didn't do much. He didn't do very well. Okay, he got second in e-buggy. But
in e-buggy he did decently.
But the talking point was Canas did not TQ. It was actually the Parente brother. I don't know if it was Adrian or Danielle, but they TQ'd. So
in Nitro Buggy. But yeah, e-buggy was Canas domination. So Canas TQ'd and won. And surprisingly, Danielle was second after qualifying, but then dropped down to fourth in the finals. As you said, Coelho second in e-buggy. And, Adrian Pariente, the younger of the two Pariente brothers.
Running a Mugen now.
Exactly. Yes. So he's
not HP.
You remember at the beginning of the year we said that he's going to be running HP. He's not. I guess
he did, and
he's
then
running
he went to Mugen.
Yeah, and his brother, he was running Techno last year. His brother obviously running Techno now.
Mm-hmm.
But Adrian actually beat Daniel in both of these classes, and
he did.
Daniel fourth in e-buggy and Figueredo in fifth. So the two Techno racers. And Paulson went, Monteiro and Batte went, and Monteiro actually also driving an Infinity these days. So
yeah, but he's more the mechanic of I think he's the full-time mechanic of Coelho now when it comes to off-road. He didn't run e-buggy. Did he run e-buggy? But yeah, Monteiro's doing that.
Monteiro run e-buggy only. Yeah.
Right. And kind of I called this race virtually. It was very hard to call, but they still had it. This is also like a Euros warm-up. So I was told that they are going to change the track slightly for the Euros in July. And then they're going to change the track again for the e-buggy World Championships at the end of August. But Canas, he won this back in 2023. He wins it in Nitro Buggy, runs away with it. I thought David Todd and these guys were going to give him something, but these young guys in Spain just aren't on the level of Canas yet. They're fast. Yeah. They're fast and they're chomping at the bit. Like when I say, I mean David Todd, the Parente brothers, Giosemi, even this, I don't know if he's from Portugal or from Spain, Pedro Gomez, he was good. So these young guys are nipping at the heels, but still Canas and Robert are still far away ahead of these kids in Spain. And I think Canas is doing what he needs to do to be back-to-back European champion and maybe the first ever e-buggy world champion.
And the thing is that I don't understand why more people don't go here, because sure, you will be here at the Euros and then you will be here again at the Worlds, but like Canas is getting a big benefit from just going to IBC, because sure, these guys were here the year before and the year before that and even the year before that. So 2022, 2023, and 2024. And I think Ongara even went to IBC in 2021 when they held it, or was it 2019, the first one they held. So sure, these guys have raced at this track a lot, but still, like I'd imagine, because it's like if it was Redovan last year and they hold some big race every year, people would go. But yeah, Canas did really well in both classes. Although I have to point out that in Nitro Buggy, it was Adrian Pariente who TQ'd, Daniel who was second, and Coelho who was third, and Canas was actually in fifth behind Batte. So in qualifying, something did not go right, but then in the main, he pulled up. He won by, what is it, almost half a lap at least from Adrian Pariente, which is actually not that much, considering Adrian was second, Batte third, and Figueredo and Coelho. So not that much, but I mean, a solid win.
I'll be there in July, and hopefully we'll both be there in August for that. All right. Up next is the 10th scale electric off-road warm-up. That was held at you have the International Buggy Challenge, but it wasn't. It was held at the Hootie Arena in Trenton. This is where they're gonna have the 10 scale Euros. This is where they had the 2019 Worlds as well. I have a video from Euro WarmUp. They have glued the track. I know a lot of people don't like this. I just don't. I'm over it. I don't mind it. That we just saw the 10 scale what we're going to talk about her shortly. The 10 scale Nationals was on a glued track. I know this surface is very finicky too. It's very. If you watch the 2019 Worlds, guys were driving like they're on ice skates. So now they have this.
Yeah. So yeah, because that's the thing. Like even here, if you look at the video, like obviously you guys listening can't see, but it's not like the Americans glued track. Like Horne is here driving his two-wheel drive, and he is somewhat sliding around. He has grip, yes, but he's still like sliding the car around the track, which does not happen that much on the American glue tracks. And I think the reason why they did this was because it was like driving on ice in 2019, and then it's been like it's not been real off-road anyway, because it's like it's like concrete, like the ground, very tough, very dry, and flat. There's no bumps basically. So gluing it just gives it maybe a little bit more grip, definitely more than it was last time. But it's gonna be interesting to have a Euros again on dirt, because there's been, I think the last one was actually. It must have been 2019, because in 2021 they didn't have Worlds. 2022 or Euros. 2022 they had one in UK. 2023 in the Netherlands, and 2024 on carpet. So it's been 6 years since the last dirt Euros with 10 scale on road off road.
Okay. Well, I see that Ronnefalk won two-wheel drive, Hotman, Orlowski. And then we have Bayer, Arlowski, and Zaleski. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good Euros there. I think Hootie Arena is a beautiful, I've only seen pictures of it, but it's a beautiful place, and they do a good job of hosting great races. All righty. I think we should get right into our main topic, which is the 10 scale Nats, which we're going to go over briefly, which was a good 10 scale Nationals. And I have something to say as soon as we drop this from JQ.
Stop scrolling, you wannabe Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with invisible speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling. That's right. Check out more invisible speed in the links in the written description of this podcast. All right. So we had the Raw 10 scale Dirt Off-Road Nationals take place this past weekend at the Hoosier Hobby Plex. They're in Indiana, New Albany, Indiana. I have visited this facility. I have not been to a race here yet. This is a glue track. Now, this is a glue track where they actually sprayed on layers of glue in between, like at night and all that stuff. They keep it very high traction, unlike what we just saw there. Very high traction, very, very high traction slicks type of racing. It's a big track as well, as you can see. Maybe we'll bring up
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Bring up some video of it if you go to. You got.
Well, I have a picture for now. Yeah. So as you can see, it's shining from the glue. It's like, I don't know what you would describe it, but
it's a glue track,
weird.
man. It's a glue track when it's fresh, and at that point it's at its very most tackiest. So it's just super high grip, right? Especially with those slicks, with all that rubber contact patch hitting the ground.
Yeah.
It's super high grip, in my opinion. So who's just holding it? We have these guys coming off a first. Some of these guys coming off a first battle from the INS race. Some of the races opting not to go to INS were Rinderneck, Champlin, and Rivkin. And the other guys kind of did. And there was a lot of stock guys that didn't go. It was only 2 weeks apart. So they head over here to this race. I'm going to say this right now. After going to these couple of INS races and following the 10 scale world pretty good for the last year or so, this is probably the most, I'm not saying these guys are the best 10 scale racers we've ever seen, but this is probably the most competitive mod and stock class in 10 scale we have seen in quite some time. It's not, especially in the mod class where it just became for some time Phend versus Rivkin, or Phend versus Champlin, or Champlin versus Rivkin. Now we have Schimmels, we have David Bottas, we have even Taters, we have Aydin Horns, we have Rindernecks. We have in stock, we have new guys showing up. We have a lot of things going on, and one of the big dynamics going on here is the size, this big new dynamic, this big new giant in 10 scale that is XRAY, that has come in and has just been like, all right, we're here. Well, what are you going to do? And I think everybody right now, Associated, Schumacher kind of not so much, because they're kind of been battling against XRAY over in Europe, but definitely Associated on the back foot right now. People can say what they want, but right now, XRAY has a squad. Like when it comes to 10 scale, they have a big squad, basically everybody from TLR. They have a huge squad, and all these guys seem to be coming together. And I think XRAY, I said this at INS, XRAY does everything necessary for XRAY as a team to have a good result. And once again, they have a great fucking result. You know, Dakotah Fan wins four-wheel drive. Schimmel wins four-wheel drive. Schimmel was the fastest once again. Probably should have won both. If it wasn't him, it should have been Davey Bottle. Davey Bottle was the fastest Associated guy. Then you had Phend, who was in position. AE can take one solace from the pro class. They won the A3 of four-wheel drive. Rivkin won A3 of four-wheel drive. But Schimmel, TQ, two-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive just made mistakes. I was talking to him. In fact, I have a quote from Schimmel right here. We're talking about it. He quoted me this morning to talk, and I have a couple of more quotes from some other guys from Aydin Horne. But it was. Go ahead, Max, while I bring it up.
Yeah, because I even wrote down in the notes that it's been forever, because in Europe we've used it. It's kind of been AE, Schumacher, XRAY. There's been 3 camps all along. In America, it never really was like that. It was AE versus TLR, and that was the fierce battle. I know you was hyping up that Phend, Rivkin, TLR versus AE thing. That's gone. That's nowhere to be seen. And looking from outside in, it's not even like there's 3 camps. It kind of looks like AE has a few of their guys, and then the rest is just Schumacher and XRAY fighting it out. Especially these new guys, you know, Rindeknet moving from XRAY to Schumacher, and then you have Champlin, and a lot of these fast young guys. And it's crazy how it's shifted in just like 1 year, like 1 or 2 years, like how much it's shifted.
Look,
and it shows in the results as well. If you
look at fucking INS, Schimmel was the fastest fucking guy there, and the second fastest guy was Davey Bottas. And these are 2 guys who just came up from stock, 2 guys who I had questioned.
Yeah,
you know, I was questioning Schimmel. I've apologized since then. I questioned Bottas, but now they're turning into 2 of the fastest guys out there. Are they going to be the best 10 scale guys? That's up to them, what their legend status will be. They're racing against legends right now, and they're doing well, and they're fucking not scared of them.
Can I go on a small tangent? I promise it's going to be very small.
Go on your small tangent, because then I want to read some of the quotes that I have here about statements. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
1 minute.
You know, people say that stock treats bad habits. You know, they say that you learn no throttle control. It's all hop ups and pink pinions, and there's no sense in it. If like you get into a better racer if you just race mod and blah blah blah. But in America, there's kind of, if you look at from 2005 to 2020, when stock really was a thing, but it wasn't like Pink Pinion, fucking dyno motors and whatnot type of thing. You had Cavalieri, Mayfield, and then you had Tebow. And those were the three guys for all of that time until Rivkin and Phend came into the picture. And that was American 10 scale pretty much. Like, sure, you had Evans and these guys were good. But now, let's say stock established itself before the pandemic. So that's when it was established. And then after the pandemic, it's become like a real thing that makes money for these companies. Schimmel, Bada, a lot of these guys in the top 10, let me just go through it. Like, David Rineknet, he's from stock. So Bada, Rineknet, Schimmel, all of these basically new names that are here on this list, except maybe for Horne, came from stock. And if you look at
Lemieux too.
Yeah, Lemieux came from stock. If you look at, like, you know, Tollard and Sontag, they are those guys who came from mod. Like, they never really raced stock.
Sontag was stock for the longest while. So did Tollard. All these guys came from stock, dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, stock is so fucking competitive, and it's back there.
Okay, so
it's back to being competitive.
I mean, if we count in Sontag and Tollard as stock guys, then it's like half of the field are like drivers that came up from stock. So
stock is doing its job.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say that, like, instead of saying stock is bad for these drivers, it's actually bringing up drivers to this high level. It's like making the possibility of these drivers to learn how to drive and little by little hone their skill and then move up to become actual pros. And just like 250, 450, just like, minis and super minis and whatnot in motocross and MotoGP, you have the steps. And even in real racing, you have karting, you go into little formulas and big formulas. Like, I think stock could be one of the best things that's happened to American 10 scale. Like, I was a big hater. You can go back in the podcast. I said, I don't care about stock. I don't talk about stock. But you just can't argue against, like, facts that there's a guy who was in stock. He won the stock nationals last year, was it Schimmel? Or a year before that? 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And now he wins the mod nationals. It's not like a coincidence, like you can say Tater's World Swim was a fluke. This is not a fluke. This is a real result. And yeah, I think it's a big wake-up call for all of those who say stock is nothing.
Schimmel should have won both classes, number one. He should have won both classes.
Yeah.
He should have won both classes.
He should.
He made this one mistake.
That was my tangent, but yeah.
Right.
We can go back into the topic.
A3 of is where he hit that pipe, he pulled a wheelie, and he threw it away. This is what Schimmel had to say. He says, I've been putting in a lot of work, just as everyone else. I wanted it more than ever after so many close attempts at some more wins this year, having mega speed at a lot of races and just falling short. At RC1, I would say I set my mind a little different from my upset after seeding to not even hitting the box. And he said the track had a leak from the AC in the corner before the triple, and it was extremely challenging to make it an A3. So I lost the rear a bit and tried to just double down and caught the pipe. Dakotah knew after the race, like, I'm trying to read is what he's saying. Was it at the triple because it was getting close? I can't really pronounce it for a few people. Yeah, but he said we all ran the same track And yeah, he hit like this pipe and pulled a wheelie and just sent him off the track. I also talked to Phend. He gave me a quick quote. He said, "Was a pretty special weekend getting my first Nats title with the XRAY RC America team. The track had a great flow to it and grooved up to race pace quick. I usually feel very comfortable here, but unfortunately, that was not the case this time around. I struggled to get into a rhythm and feel comfortable all weekend long. Just a little bit off, which is hard to manage nowadays with the level everyone is at. I had some decent runs in qualifying, but really buckled down in Q4 to get the best starting positions possible. Going into Sunday, I knew having clean 99% consistency runs was a must to have a shot, and that was what I focused on. In two-wheel drive, I didn't quite have the pace, but some solid runs secured me in a third overall. For four-wheel drive, I drove really clean and got a second in A1 and one A2. In A3, I knew I had to go for it, but had a mistake a couple minutes in. I was fortunate enough that the 2-1 finishes were good enough for the overall win when all was said and done. The track was gnarly in A3 with the grip coming down and some wet spots from condensation. Overall, a solid weekend, and congrats again to Brennan on an amazing weekend and a great display of driving." So those are your two winners in the main class. Also got a voice note from Aydin Horne. Let's see what Aydin has to say. I haven't listened to this yet. So we're going to listen to it, hopefully here on the podcast for the first time.
Yo, we are back and rested from the 110 Roar Off-Road Nationals. Aydin Horne here with some thoughts and feelings on the event. Unfortunately, I absolutely sucked it up. Didn't even get in the top 5 for the weekend. Ended with the P6 and 2-wheel, P7 and 4-wheel. And, you really do hate to see that. You really do. But as they say, it is what it is, Nobody to blame except for my blowout self for blowing out every single round, Track was fun. Eddie put in a good layout. Super high speed, high grip, high speed, pretty gnarly stuff. I'd say the margin of error was pretty little. And, I just wasn't quite inside that margin. More often than not, every run I would just clip a pipe and fly off the track and get like 7th. So, that is what it is. But we live and learn. We fight another day, and we move forward. The steeds were ripping. That's all you can really ask for. Nicola came in for HOTRACE tire support. Dude's a legend, all the way from Italy. His thumbs were raw by the end of the weekend. So that's a dedicated soldier right there. Shout out to him. And Schimmel was fast. He drove good. Program was on point. My boy Davey Bada almost had something for him in 2-wheel, but one mistake away. It is what it is. On to the next. See you at the INS, LFG.
Yeah. So there's at least he was honest. There was no flare up between him and Tater, I assume, too. But yeah, exactly.
I love how chill Aydin is about this. Like, he's always, I don't know if he's actually having fun, but at least he's making it fun,
His freaking vlogs, his impersonation of Doug Leverrier is awesome.
But also he brings up a great point that, there really isn't much 10 scale where you can make little mistakes. Like,
no,
back in the day, I was just watching some world champion. Oh, no, it wasn't world champion. It was some American race, 10 scale race from 90s or something, like really old. And, this guy's leading and he's like making mistakes every lap, like touching the pipe here and there and clipping it, but he's still pulling away from the other guys, like imagine these days if you clip a pipe every lap, like no way. So I think that's a big development in what happened in RC's 8 scale and 10 scale, and even in on road, that the margin of error is so much smaller, and it's the more than not, it's tough for the drivers more than anything. So
Yeah,
that's a good point.
absolutely, man. Especially with these 5-minute runs that the under pressure to be immaculate, like, not make any mistakes whatsoever. And you have to in order to win these races. We're just going to put up the coverage from Live RC that they done real quick. This is A3 of 4-wheel drive. We'll play this while we talk about it. And on these type of tracks, this is a big track. But man, really some of the really good racing was in the stock class. Pancioni and the Levi and the Raymond twins had some good battles. Tyler Henley got up there for a little bit as well. But you can see, man, I mean, Schimmel looks so confident, and where he makes this mistake, where he has no pressure from behind and no pressure out front, he absolutely lost his Phend. Phend makes a mistake on this double, just on his own. It's awesome to see. I watched all the mains yesterday and today at home and checked them out. So, but yeah, let's go through 4-wheel drive first. So it was Phend, Schimmel, and Chaplin who take the overall. Phend takes the overall. Schimmel will finish second. It was Schimmel, Bada, and Phend in 2-wheel drive. So Associated got on the podium in 2-wheel drive, did not get on the podium in 4-wheel drive. It was an XRAY Schumacher sandwich, and it was a XRAY Associated sandwich in 2-wheel drive for these guys. So I'm telling you, dude, like XRAY's team in 10 scale is freaking impressive. Like it's like they have come in, and I don't think they're knocking on the door of Associated. They've kicked the door on, and they're like walking through. That's my
and yeah, because just starting a 4-wheel, as you said. Like if you look at this, there's first of all 1-2 win with Phend winning and Schimmel, and then even when you go down, like sure, championing is Schumacher, but then there's Sontag, and the first XRAY is 5th. It's Rivkin, and then after Rivkin, it's Cavalieri, Horne, and then after that, Schumacher with Tollard, Associated Bata, and then the Schumacher with Rindekne. So, like, sure, there's an even amount of AE, XRAY, and Schumacher guys, but it just happens that all of the XRAY guys that are towards the top of
dude,
the
they have
list.
a squad, and even in stock, they have a decent squad. Even though it was an Associated R1 sweep of the stock class, and then in 13.5 truck, it was Nate Sutherland. It's Dustin Fox and them got Dustin Fox and Aaron Mitchell and Tyler Henley were all three of them in the mix for this. And when they go to INS in a couple of weeks' time and they go to the carpet nats, those XRAY guys in stock are going to be very hard to beat. Very hard to beat.
Yeah.
So,
and I was thinking of moving to the 2-wheel drive because you said, obviously Schimmel, Bada, Phend, the top 3. But the interesting part about this is Schimmel actually finished last. He had a DNF in A1. So
he got a bad start. Very bad start.
Yeah, so he TQs 2-wheel drive. First E1, first A1. Oh yeah, roll it back because we go back to 4-wheel drive a little bit. So here you can see Schimmel clipping the pipe, still going over the double and running off the track. This is what pretty much all on his own lost the 4-wheel drive class. Well, the win in the 4-wheel drive class.
He threw it away, though, sir. He knows it. He tries to get back up. It's Champlin in the middle and Rivkin out front, but you can't make mistakes like that when you're out front with no pressure, and he did, unfortunately.
No.
So,
but I mean, back to 2-wheel drive. As I said, 10th in A1 must be huge pressure for him. Like first big result coming in, double TQ first win, and then a DNF in A1. Brings it home with wins in A2 and A3. Bada obviously benefiting from that A1, taking the win there, and then finishing second in A3. And Phend, he's kind of there, but just looking at the times, he's always a little bit behind, behind the rest. So still a third in 2-wheel drive. Champlin, not a bad weekend for him if you think about it. Like a third in 4-wheel drive, fourth in 2-wheel drive. And a Rivkin, let's get back to Rivkin, but he's fifth in two-wheel drive as well. Horne in sixth, as you said, and Cavalier in seventh. And then in the bottom, Rineknecht, Tollard, and Lemieux. So Lemieux and Sontag were the only ones who did not make both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive A-mates, which is an interesting thing. Like, if you think about it, like only two guys who made just one main. But now I want to get back to two people in specifically. As we said, Bada did well, but Rivkin and Cavalieri. Can we talk about them, or do you want to bring something up?
Well, I was going to say that I think that Rundeneck, Chase Lemieux, and Aydin Horne will be disappointed with their results. They will want to be in that top 5. I think Cavalieri 7th and making both A finals is a win. Better results than he's had an 8 skill.
Yeah, and the thing about the Cavalieri, because let's start with him now, because you brought him up now. 6th and 7th, and Horne was 6th and 7th. You know, like Cavalieri is he's not a privateer, but he's not an associated factory guy. You know, when Rivkin finishes 5th in both classes, and Horne and Cavalieri are tied with 6th and 7th, like, sure, great for Cav, but how does that look like for Team AE? Like a guy who comes in there.
He's running an associated car.
He is. I know he is. But the thing is that, like, he's coming there as a privateer that doesn't practice, you know, basically.
No OCRC to practice no more all the time.
Yeah, and like, sure, he has one-up backing and gets paid. This is his work still. But we all know he doesn't practice, you know? And he comes in there, like, fights with the guy who is looking to try to win the world championship this year, and beats even the guy who's the associated number 2, designated associate number 2. So, I mean, this is like, if I was associated, I would be like, hey, like, why wouldn't we take him back?
I'm gonna say something too. Spencer Rivkin is dedicated this year to 10 scale. He should be winning these 10 scale races.
Yeah. And
he did win A3.
Yeah, but come on. It's like, if you look at this, like, there was no one, like, in two-wheel drive, there was 3 different winners. Oh, sorry, four-wheel drive, 3 different winners in two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive was more controlled, but Rivkin started from 6th and finished one main in 3rd. Champlin came from 5th to finish 2nd in A2. So it's not like it was tough coming up. I mean, Sontag came from 5th to finish 2nd in A2 in four-wheel drive. And Horne came from 8th to finish 3rd in A2 in four-wheel drive. So it's not like, you know, winning one main is wow, what a performance. It's more like he had a good run, and Schimmel took himself out, and Phend took himself out, and, you know, then there's no more cars in front, basically. It's good performance, but it's not like, it doesn't say that he finished 5th in both classes and he wants to be a world champion at late this year. It's a very different track, fine, but if I was him, I would be depressed.
I'm looking at four-wheel drive results. Rivkin in 5th again. Cavalieri 6th. Aydin Horne 7th. Davey Bada and Rindeneck would not be happy with 9th and 10th. They should be up in that top 5. But looks like Bada was never really in it. 9, and a 7.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if AE is running, because when we was here with Will, we talked about Associated having a new four-wheel drive buggy. So at the World's WarmUp in Australia, they was running a new four-wheel drive buggy. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're calling it, B75 or B74. I have no idea what they're calling it. B8. B84, I guess. I don't know if they was running it this weekend. I guess I could go check some pictures. I think I know which one is which. But two-wheel drive, I think Bada saves it. You know, finishing 2nd is still a good result. And he won the first main, you know. And Rivkin in 5th, like you could let that go. But then the 4-wheel drive is just the best associated is 5th. Like these guys should be dominating because, you know, TLR is gone, but they're not.
Not with X-Ray there. You know where they are dominating though? They're dominating in the 17.5 class. Because I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, let's
So it was
move
Levi
down
Raymond.
to
Levi Raymond. He had a 9 in A1. He came back in 3rd. A2 and A3 were really good at this race. Dominic Passione, who's running the Associated car, but also with R1 stuff, and TZO tires. Nate Sutherland came in 3rd. Nate Sutherland should be winning this, in my opinion. Tyler Henley, TQ of 2-wheel drive, and he was able to turn TQ into a win in A2, but he had a 6 and a 7 at his home track. So this would be one that he kind of let slip, I would say. Yeah. Kyle Go, 5th. Dustin Fox, who's Move a Carpet guy, 6th. I don't know who Colin Miles is. Silent Sammy Moran, and 8th. Aaron Mitchell, who's Move a Carpet guy as well. And then Chase Raymond, who won this last year. I believe.
Levi won 4-wheel drive, and Chase was 2nd in 4-wheel drive.
Okay. It was a good race. Then in 2-wheel drive, it was a good race between Passione and Levi Raymond. Kind of where we left off at INS when these two last met each other at a big race, in my opinion. And then in 4-wheel drive, let me bring that up. 4-wheel drive. Dominic Passione, I did lose, takes it A1, doesn't get it in A2, leaves it to A3. He takes him in. I have a comment, a quote from him. Chase Raymond in 2nd. Levi Raymond. Levi got a win as well. Chase got all seconds, 2, 2, and 2. Talon Henley from 6th with a 3rd, an 8th, and a 3rd. Aaron Mitchell, a 5th, a 3rd, and a 7th. That guy is getting fast each race.
Yeah.
Each race he goes to. He is definitely, he was fast at INS. He's definitely more of a carpet guy. Hunter King. Man, Hunter King started in 3rd, had a 6.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, he got screwed so many times.
And he's the TLR lone soldier, I've heard.
You know, I'm going to give Hunter King some credit because I don't give him much. But he's out there kind of on his own doing this, and to make these 2 finals, I think he made both. Let me see.
No, he made only 4-wheel drive.
And he made 4-wheel drive? Okay. To make those finals, and yeah, I know it didn't go as he wanted to go in, but still decent for him. I saw my buddy Justin Sherman. He won short course. Nate Sutherland won 2-wheel drive. I'm sorry, 13.5 stadium truck. 21.5 was Nerlin Hunt. That's my class, by the way. And then 40 plus mod 2-wheel drive was Paul Ciccarello, followed by Brent Delkey, Alan Horne, Chris Vanner. And yeah, it was a good nationals. No kerfuffle. But I think that out of this nationals, and I saw this come out of INS, the XRAY team in 10 scale is going to be very freaking hard to beat in the USA. And right now, we have a very stiff competition, very good competition level in mod and stock in 10 scale racing in the USA. It's very good to see because for a little while it was going downhill, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. And I'm not going to the island race, but that's also like a warm up to the nationals, the carpet nationals in August. So it's going to be stacked. I will get to see these guys. Hopefully they'll come to the Omaha race. But it was a good weekend. Congratulations. I think Brandon Schimmel is about to open up a can of whoop ass on a lot of these guys. If he can just if he could just stay focused and do what he has to do and not make those mistakes like what he did just now. Because even when we was at INS, it was a lot of his own mistakes that caused him this. If he can eliminate those, then that kid, I eat my words already. Like he shouldn't have seen. He's doing good, and I give Schimmel a lot of credit because he's had to do it like scrap from the bottom to get her, and he's doing good. He's doing good, and I'm happy for him. He's doing well. But that X-Ray team, dude, they have a squad. So they have him, they have Phend, they have Lemieux, they have Tater, they have other guys stacked. Then they have carpet ringers that are going to come in, like Hot Pockets from up in Pacific Northwest. Dude, they got us like Associated like they're not got enough. They're not got this. They're gonna have to send everybody in. They're gonna have to call up Carrot and bring him over.
Yeah, I think the saving grace for Associated in the next 2 years are Raymond twins. If they ever move up to mod, or let's say when they move up to mod,
they are impressive.
They are very impressive, and there's 2 of them, so you get 2 birds in 1 stone. And you still have Rivkin and Horne. I don't think either one is going to go anywhere. So yeah, and Bada is. I think without him, this would have been a stinker for a stinker, a real one.
He was the fastest guy at INS, even though he didn't win. He didn't get no results. He was the fastest guy. Tell you, a very, very impressive and very competitive mod and stock class in the USA. And with Mason Fuller's win, hopefully we're starting to see that happen as well. And the good thing is, lots of Europeans are coming over for Wicked Weekend in July too. I know I segued into something completely different, but it's going to be good. And of course, let's not forget that we have the World's Outdoors in Australia in 10 scale this year. So that's going to be the big caveat for lots of racers. I am excited for the 10 scale Worlds. I am truly excited. I'm excited for INS in a couple of weeks, and I'm excited for the INS Raw Carpet Nationals. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I did have a voice note from Dominic Pacioni. Let's play that, and let's hear what he has to say.
This past weekend was super exciting and a hard-fought battle with the twins and everyone else on the track. I'm super excited how it ended up turning out. It was a little luck involved, but that's sometimes what it takes to get the job done. I wish Two-Wheel could have gone my way 1 or twice that weekend, but, still going to take a second overall for that. But I'm super excited for how it went. Super happy that I got the 4-0 win. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome it happened that way. And I can't wait to go to the next one.
I like Dominic Pacioni. I think he's going to make it awesome. I look forward to the next racing where all these guys get together. Kudos to him for taking forward drive. Kudos to Levi on the stock. 13th, 17.5 two-wheel drive. Big shout out to Team X-Ray, man. I got to give them their props. They're fucking kicking ass. And Associated better pay attention. They're in trouble. Schumacher's just kind of there. They don't have a big team. Yeah. They have some good names. But they've been in a battle with X-Ray for quite some time. So they're just there. Kind of, we'll take our wins, we'll take our jabs, but let Associated and X-Ray fight it out while we kind of fly under their radar. That's what I'm doing if I'm Schumacher right now. Yeah, that's my thoughts on 10 scale right now. I'm geeking out on 10 scale right now, Max. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is like, yeah.
All right.
It's like fun to follow.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We do have a INS podcast as well. Go check it out. Had Damon Barkowitz on there, as well as the chairman, Will Venables. Up next, we have some upcoming races brought to you by Sidewinder Fuel. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with the world's top drivers for over 40 years. This has enabled us to test our fuels in some of the most challenging situations and take development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. Fuel has been track tested and proven by national world champions such as Ryan Cavallari, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Vitas, and their current top driver is young Fee Long Win, aka Little Bump. These drivers appreciate that Sidewinder is blended perfectly for high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today. If you guys want to get some Sidewinder, reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with them. Upcoming races, we have the Midsummer Carpet Indoor Nationals, INS round number 3 at Island Raceway in Muscatine, Iowa. We have the EFRA Electric European Championships coming up at Valladolid, Spain. I don't even know. I got to look at this track. That should be interesting. We have the Nitro Off-Road European Championships coming up July 1st. We also have the Nationals coming up in June. I don't know the exact date at Thornhill. We have the Lone Star race coming up here very shortly as well, which will be the warm-up for that. That's going to be big. We have the late summer dirt indoor nationals or INS round 4 at Hobbyton, Hobbyplex. I'll be going to that, as well as the weekend before that. We have the Wicked Weekend, which I'm sure will be packed. And then we have the Ebuggy World Championships coming up at the end of August as well. Georgia Peach State Classic. We have, as well as the Off-Road Worlds coming up. We're trying to get somebody to go there and represent us as the NNRC. Max doesn't want to go. JQ doesn't want to go. And Will's going to be racing. So it's very hard to get somebody. But we'll see how it all works out. I think that's it, Max. 2 hours of geeking out of RC news. 2 hours, a little bit on the 10 scale nationals, which I thought was awesome. And I look forward to the next race that these guys go to and having you back on here in a week or so, whatnot. Because you're a busy man now. You got to be back to work and school and activism and veganism and not getting haircuts and, all that type of stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is that, like, it's looking like that I might actually graduate pretty soon.
Oh.
Like within the year. So, and I'm doing my thesis and working at the same time. So, yeah. Dude, I thought this summer it would be like easy, but so far it's not looked like it's gonna be easy. So
never easy.
I don't know. It's like I wish I could just go back to like, when I started school, but then, just focus on RC instead. Because that
you want to go back to
like,
RC life?
Yeah, like you just. Like, sure, I didn't have any money, but at least I wasn't this busy. I mean, sure, most of this is self-inflicted by wanting to organize things and improve the world. But yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Max, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You have a good weekend. Get ready for your Finnish nationals. We want to thank everybody for their continued support, all the NNRC squad out there, wherever you're racing this weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. It is Memorial Weekend as well in the USA, so there'll be it's a long weekend. Everybody enjoy your holiday weekend. A big shout out to the NNRC patrons as well. You'll get early release as well as the YouTube members. A big shout out to these companies that make it possible. J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC. Shout out to all our drivers as well. We greatly appreciate their support. Remember, everybody, you can support the podcast by supporting the sponsors in the written description. There are links for all of them. Let them know that you heard about them on the No Name RC podcast, or take advantage of the coupon codes or affiliate links that we have. We have some good deals going on. Thank you, everybody. Max, see you later. Lefty, we're out. Max, thank you for your time. I will see you later.